Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Macca here, playing Watch Dogs. This is a guide for all 17 unique QR codes within the game. Now, collectibles are shown on your map, and this is the only collectible guide I will be making because QR codes are a little bit difficult. They're not always exactly where the map shows them, and basically to scan one, you have to find the perfect camera on the map to scan it properly. So I'll be doing that and showing you guys exactly what to do also for the final puzzle. For this first one, we're in Pawnee on the bridge. Make sure you run up here away from the highway, and you can scan the QR code from the back of the billboard and the bridge. There's a total of 17 of these, and I have put them in an order that makes sense, so it should be pretty easy to drive between them. The next one is a little bit south of where we just were in Parker Square, and that is the location. There's a few of them that I already had, so they won't show up on the map, but I will be showing them in detail to show you exactly where they are. I'm in the street here, and I'm facing the QR code. You can see a little bit here on the building that I just showed you. You're going to want to go on this camera on what looks like to be a school, and you can scan that. That one's really easy. Moving on to number 3, still in Parker Square, just a little bit south of where we just were. You'll see my location on the map, and I'm facing the QR code. Once you get to this location, you should see a little bit of a corner popping out on the second story or third story of a building. What you're going to want to do is run down the alley across the street from the corner poking out, and you'll find this camera sitting right there with the other half of the QR code. Hop on the camera, and it should scan pretty easily, and that should be your third if you're going along in order. And there you go. I had to hop from camera to camera really quick just to get that one actually. Moving on to number 4, this one's a little bit further south. If you haven't noticed, I am going a little bit counterclockwise, and this one's at the Wards, and you'll see that there's a bit of a dock here. So go onto those docks, and you should see the tip of the QR code pointing out on that building where I'm aiming right now. You will need to get in a boat for this one, so hop on a boat and then enter the boat as you would enter any car. And you're going to want to steer this boat to the left-hand side into one of these docks. And there's like 3 lights with 3 green doors, and you're going to want to head to the middle one. So not that one, a little bit to the right of where I currently am, and you're going to want to scan into that camera that I'm pointing at right now. Now, if you don't have the angle, just exit the boat and you'll actually step onto it on the back, and you can enter that camera and point into that QR code directly right there. That should be 4 of 17 for you. Moving on, this next one is number 5, also in the Wards. This one is a little bit south east of the one we were just at, near the train station. You'll see it right there on my map, and you'll see a little bit of a corner poking out here. This one's a little bit complicated, I guess, because it's so spread out. There's multiple pieces on multiple buildings. But for this one, you're going to want to run down the road to where the gun shop is, which is on my right-hand side right now. Across the street from the gun shop, there are 2 buildings and an alleyway, and you can find a camera at the top of the taller building in the corner right there across from the gun shop, and you'll be able to aim the QR code perfectly right there. Now we're going to be moving on to the Brandon Docks. This is number 6. This one is just across the bridge, and you're going to want to be where I am on the map because of how far the camera is that you need from the QR code. There's a QR code on the side of the building. If you hop on this camera on this little blue store, you can scan the QR code from all the way across the bridge. So that should be number 6 for you if you're following along. Still within the Brandon Docks, now we're headed a little bit east of where we were previously. I already had this one scanned, but it'll be exactly where my cursor is on screen. You'll see these 2 halves on these 2 buildings. This one's actually a little bit complicated because you have to kind of go pretty far away. And if you try to use any of the cameras in the parking lot that I'm currently in, you actually can't do anything. So what I recommend is either getting in a car or running down the road to this intersection. On this intersection, there is a parking lot as well as like a billboard, but you're going to want to hack into the camera next to the gas station. And if you do that, the QR code should line up perfectly. And there you go. It will scan for you. I already had it scanned. Number 8, a little bit north of where we previously were. Again, in the Brandon Docks. This one, you're going to want to be in this location. And where my cursor is right there, this will be where you'll see one of the QR code pieces from that intersection where it'll show up on your map. However, we will need to be moving a little bit away from here. So go down the road under the train tracks, open the gate for yourself, and you'll be headed into this kind of industrial park. And from this park, you can actually scan in using that corner right there of that building. You'll see where I am in relation to that first piece right here. And as always, you're going to want to scan it to make sure it goes in and accepts it. Number 9 on the Brandon Docks, a little bit north of where I just previously was. What you're going to need to do is, once you get to the location I'm at, this is exactly where the QR code logo would be on your map. You'll see the little corner. Drive through this garage, away from that QR code piece, through the next garage, and you'll see in front of me is a storage facility for boats. And there's a camera right next to that garage door opening, and that'll scan the 2 QR codes, half on one building, half on the other. Excuse my voice, I'm a little sick and a little bit disoriented this morning. Number 10, in the loop, a little bit north of where we just previously were, next to the train tracks. Now this one can be a little bit complicated, and I'll explain why, but it shouldn't be too bad actually. Once we get to this location, you'll see that a little bit of a QR code is poking out just there in the tip of that building. And across the street, you'll have this train track. Just keep running across the street, and you'll see this kind of industrial-looking building with a brick fence around it. And there'll be one camera here that should be able to scan the QR code. It's off in the distance, so it can be a little bit hard to see. But that's it right there. Number 11, in the loop again. I'll show you exactly where I am on the map with a little bit of zooming here. You're going to want to go to this investigation point near one of the missions, and you'll see that it's really scattered among these pillars. And the reason I'm in a car is because you will need a car, or at least you'll need to swim and use this ramp to jump across the lake, or get in a boat, or just swim across. That's all fine. If you're like me, you missed, and you'll just have to swim up and across. And once you're under the bridge, across the river from where the icon will be, you can see the QR code behind me. If you use this camera, everything will line up perfectly, and you can scan it in without a problem. That should be number 11 if you're following along in the same order as me. Number 12, in the loop, a little bit north of where I just was. This one is next to some train tracks. Now, this one is also complicated for one reason. You can see the tip of it right there. Now, there's 2 ways to get this. You can run onto the train tracks and follow them around, but you need to get into that camera that I just aimed at. Instead of going on the train tracks, which is what I originally did, and then I re-recorded this because I did it later. But just follow along down the road, come up here, and you're going to be trying to get directly under that camera that I was just at. So if you go up these stairs and run to the very end of this area, you can go on that scaffolding on the train tracks, or you can go where I am and you can scan into this camera, which will work directly for that QR code, which will be right in front of you. Pretty easy, as long as you know which camera you're looking for. Number 13, this one's eastward of the previous one. This one's also in the Loop District. In this corner here, there's a CTOS tower here, and this is probably one of the first QR codes you'll stumble across if you're playing the game and just coming across them as you play. You'll see a little bit of a corner there, and if you run down the alleyway, you'll see a camera right there on this corner, pretty low hanging, and it's only hackable from kind of one angle. And there's these 2 dudes. These 2 dudes are almost always there for some reason, and you can scan into the code right there pretty easily. You can go hop from camera to camera to camera if you need to, so keep that in mind. Now we're moving up to the northeast district of the map. This is the Mad Mile. This one, you're going to want to note where I was on the screen compared to the icon. I'm pretty far away from the icon. I'm near that little historic church. And if you run away from the QR code and towards this kind of embassy-looking building, if you hack into the corner camera above the main entrance away from the church, you can actually scan in this code just like that. Now, this code's pretty far away from, like, the camera's actually pretty far away from where the code is, so you'll want to keep that in mind, obviously. Again, we're still in the Mad Mile, and you'll see that QR code location. I'm in the middle of this little plaza, and you'll see in the corner there, I'm showing you where the QR code kind of appears. And what you're going to want to do is run across the street and hack into the camera that is facing right there on the corner of this white building. And you can hack across the street onto this other corner of this other white building, and you'll be directly across the street from the red and white signed store, and you can scan in that code. Hopefully that's helpful. Number 16, this is the last one you'll kind of get before a new thing appears. In the Mad Mile next to the hideout, come on the highway and you'll see this right there on the side of that building. If you run across the highway, hop over the fence, there will be a camera I'll be pointing at right now. That's the camera you'll need. Now, you can actually hack into that camera by walking up close to it, but if you go to this camera, and you can just use the other cameras to get into it, and if you're into it, there you go, number 16 of 17. Now, after you complete the first 17 of the QR code scans, you'll get a call from an unlisted number on your cell phone, and this will trigger the last part of the QR code investigation. The last QR code you'll need, number 17 of 17. After listening to the call for a little bit of time, you'll end up getting a new marker or waypoint on your map, as I'll open up and show you right now. The QR code investigation, to end it off, is in the Mad Mile, which is the northeastern district, and it'll be a blue icon with the little chip inside. Once we reach it, you'll need to start the investigation on the side of the building, which will start a whole lot of puzzles. Now, I'll show you the kind of beginning part of the puzzle, then I'll skip a little bit forward and show you the final solution to the puzzle. This should be able to help you guys out if you're stuck. Now, I'm showing you the easier parts first because that's what I did first, obviously, and you'll need to unlock all these extra pieces before you're able to unlock the big middle lock that takes all four sides. So just look around, and this is basically the same kind of solution you'll need for more or less a lot of the hacks, except this one's a lot more complex and has a lot more going on. Now eventually you'll unlock more and more pieces, and you're just going to want to keep spinning things and following lines, tracing them to make sure you're getting the right angles to line up the blue lines to go into the lock so that you can open it. I'll be fast forwarding a little bit here after I unlock this lock in the middle of my screen currently. Just make sure you're following the blue lines from the center area. And eventually, as I turn this one, it'll unlock that. And now all I have left are the two other locks on the screen. Eventually, after a long while of struggling, you'll get all these pieces available for use, and I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit for you guys and show you the final solution to the puzzle. So now that I have all the pieces unlocked, here is the final solution. I'll go slowly, starting from the bottom. So that just shows you that the lock is unlocked, and that's what you're gonna need to do. From the bottom of the screen, you're going to need those four exact, actually the top one doesn't matter. You'll need the bottom one and the two side ones to be doing that and that exact direction for you. And then on the middle part, you'll need these 3 or 4 pieces to be in this pattern in order to get all the lines to show up perfectly. The one above it, you'll need that shape. And then the one to the left of it, you'll need that shape. Hopefully that helps you guys out for the final solution of this QR code scanning side mission. This puzzle took me a little bit of time, so I make sure to show you guys the solution in order to help you guys out, because you could be here for like 20 minutes if you're not sure what to do. Once you hack in, though, into that final big 4-sided lock, you'll get into this room with Giggles, and you'll hack his phone, and then there will be like a 30-second little cinematic where you're talking to that unlisted number. Eventually, after all that happens, you will be shot back outside to in front of the building where we started our hack, and you'll unlock the achievement, which is worth 15 gamer score, or you'll unlock the trophy, which is worth a bronze trophy. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe if you found the video useful. Hopefully, I'll see you in one of my next videos.